A blessing in disguise, because we've already discussed before that some of those heavy hitters like rigoN are better on the T half right now.
Yeah.
They're going to be starting on CT. If you can break down that economy, if you can be the aggressors, you can dictate the pace of the action. Don't look so timid and meek like they did on Ancient.
No.
Like, you have to go out with a bang here. If you are excstatic, you cannot sit back and play reactive. This is an amazing opportunity. They would be devastated if they come out of this knowing that they just sat back and were like, oh, we're sorry, Guild Eagles, sir, please don't, wreck us too hard.
Yeah, the big eagle. Those large talons, picking up sheep, flying away with them. That's what they're known for in a wild, but on Inferno, what are they known for? Opening with an initial frag. The opening pistol kill is theirs, but there's a battle back. You might have an eagle, but we've got a kraghen.
Oh, that flash went the wrong side of Apeks. Actually blinded some of the CTs, but it doesn't matter, because Synopsy is not missing a shot, not missing a beat. And this was a reoccurring theme on Ancient. All the duels went the way of Guild Eagles. Their aim was on point. And it's a full house of kills with Synopsy bagging 3. And it seems like they're showing no signs of slowing down with these insta-fast flicks.
So scary. So many talented aimers. The aim skill on Guild is through the roof at times. And especially when they're playing like they are right now, where they're one map up, they're feeling hyped, the roster's bouncing ideas off each other. They're just like, hey, you go for a peek, I'll go for a peek. It works. And one of the factors that could really stop ECSTATIC from picking up speed on their T side of Inferno is that they're normally confident to battle for banana control. They like to run up, get in your face. They have the double molly set up where they go around the back, path towards car. But if you're just being swung on, you might lose that initial confidence.
As we were speaking about there, that is lunacy. Guild Eagle sending GX for a wide swing down on the T steps within the first 10-15 seconds of the round, and that is what Guild Eagles bring to the table. Sometimes it yields success, and sometimes it puts them in a really bad spot. But they're still aggressive down here, taking the fight to ECSTATIC, who have a good read of the situation. They're only now just starting to make a move up second mid.
Oh, the T side basically playing an anti-eco default on their T half, waiting for the pushes to come in, and that's exactly what happens. Guild, on every fight, they're getting picked off. One by one, they whittle down the numbers, and they can clear out towards top banana as well. kraghen goes in to get the information. They'll know the B's now clear. You can then hard commit, get the bomb up, get it planted, and juanflatroo is left in a 1v4 scenario.
He'll be saving. I think almost guaranteed he'll be looking to save this. But that is the double-edged element of the sword that Guild Eagles play on. Sometimes you're going to cut yourself on it, as you ran through by your own tactics. I think ECSTATIC doing their homework there, sitting way back.
Yeah.
They force-bought into this round, after that post-plant. They force-bought in. They were looking to try and get a little bit of confrontation early doors and decide to just hold off, hold fire. In fact, it wasn't even a post-plant. They just went straight in for the Galils. They've picked up a bunch of SMGs as well from Salazar's perspective, and he'll be hoping he gets a much better start from last time where he was 0-4. He had the AWP once, got picked off and mid, and that was pretty much the end of his map. So this does at least give them something to play with, and this is the moment. GX, a minute 37 on the time, and he's running down the T steps. And around the Guild Eagles who actually won the previous off. That is madness.
That's what they do, though. It's what they're known for. It's their flavor of Counter-Strike. The one hero rifle as well. Passed over to the hands of rigoN. Everyone else with the supporting pistols. Group up with a stack at the back of the B site. juanflatroo set to defend towards A. Can smoke on mid, but he's seen. Shoulder around the corner. So they get a read onto one player towards brackets at least, and it looks like the T's will group up, Wolfpack, and fight for that brackets control.
That smoke is going to dissipate momentarily, though. And with a 4-player stack on banana, it does leave juanflatroo on his 46 HP, basically against the world. Oh, if that second headshot had connected, this could have got sketchy real quick on the side of ECSTATIC. They're going to be funneling through different angles here. GX pushing into Yaps. Meanwhile, rigoN with the M4 on library. They have no kit, though, so it almost feels as if they're setting him to post-plant positions where they can try and choke out the Ts and allow the bomb to do half the job for them. Down goes rigoN. And that makes it a lot more difficult for them to lock this one in now. They can escape through library, through CT side, and the ECSTATIC should be fine.
High HP on the players, so saving is okay. You can back off towards the pit. One blast obviously going to do a lot of damage, but you'll find your way through it. And it'll be fine. So they keep the weapons alive, 4 of them to be precise for excl, just the pistols that are carried over from Guild.
Yeah, I thought they were going to try and weaken down some of those players before the bomb blast, but they decided to just hold in position to go getting into the next one. And Guild Eagles are that kind of team where typically, you know, if you think of like a VP, if you think of a more conservative team, when it comes to saving and calling the saves early, it's like, right, you got an M4, you got some pistols, cool, just back off, go to B, just chill. You know, you're fine. You have a chance to go again in the next round. The Guild Eagles are like, can we find a kill? Can we find a couple of kills, maybe? Reminds me of that Dave Chappelle meme, you know, y'all got any more of those kills? You know, as they're trying to look around just desperately.
Oh, it looks like that might be a frag over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Oh, we've lost 4 players, but we did get 1, so...
Yeah. A first breakfast? What about a second breakfast? Oh, mate. Can't feast as easily into the 4th, though. You got the 1 HE in the hands of Synopsy. Oh, a second brought to the table as well for rigoN. Okay. So a bit of nitro brought out. See what they can get done with that. And for excl as well, you might actually be expecting the aggression again from Guild, so they'll probably post up all the angles, see if they give you an opening, and then you can build off of that. Blow for blow being traded towards Banana, but the HE from the T side, well, that's right on the money.
Yeah, spot on. Synopsy blown into little pieces. Just with those saved pistols. Oh, it's a sad sight, isn't it? It looks like he's just relaxing, actually.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. Stand back up again. Nice yawn, nice nap. rigoN's been put into his bed as well, tucked in neatly by kraghen. And with the smoke on CT, it's going to isolate Senery from the rest of his team with that P250. It's up on the boost angle, can sometimes catch players off guard, but kraghen is up to the task. And this is exactly what we were hoping to see from a neutral's perspective. Not getting blown out early again, excl with a chance not to just build up their economy, but build up their confidence as well, man, after that complete dismantling in the previous map.
Yeah, because if the knock-on effects carry on, if it just bleeds over from Ancient straight into the first half of Inferno, it makes it a whole lot harder to kind of snap yourself back into reality and just focus on the grand scheme of the series ahead of you. And they're actually screaming a little bit. Okay, this is an excl roster that's been pretty quiet, pretty stoic throughout the entire event, even when they're taking scalps from big teams. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, 100%. I mentioned the words timid and meek before. Yeah. I'm really glad to hear that. There's fight. There's a little bit of bite there on the side of excl, but we'll have to see if that remains, Jackie, because it's all well and good when you're winning, when you're punishing eco rounds. What happens if you start going behind in this game? Do we have silence again? Do we look at their cams' perspectives and everyone has their head in their hands and they look dejected and they look just completely gone? That's when we're going to have to see that bite and that tenacity, because there's going to be a bite coming up for Guild Eagles now. Should also highlight that kraghen coming into this round has 207 ADR, by the way. He's been absolutely popping off in these first 4 rounds. Still early days, though.
It is, but kraghen was one of those players that, you know, especially yesterday, going into the Apeks matchup, by and large, he was the big performer for excl. At the minute, in terms of the overall statistics, before we got into Ancient, it was only Salazar that was really positive in terms of his overall KD for the squad. So it's good to see the other pieces of excl now coming back to the forefront. Talk of Salazar as well. He dons the AWP on the T side. It can be used as an entry tool, but he's also pretty good in the late round with that scope as well. We saw that a lot in their previous games.
He seems like a very aggressive kind of AWPer that wants to be going in for those quick peaks. As the kind of vibe that I got from watching them play against Apeks. Lots of nade damage early on, but it's Senery that gets the first and then pulls the plug and gets out of there afterwards. Flashbang as a parting gift. Nodios getting wrecked elsewhere on the map. I think it was through the smoke of Apps. He's had to back away from there. So early on in this round, Guild Eagles looking like they're in much better shape. But they still have to repel this push, and excl still have tons of utility to go for a set play on the B side.
Salazar was pre-scoped from the bottom of Banana. So he walks the whole way up. Going dry, going contact, no audio cue, no free information for Guild, but perfect time smoke. That removes that element and slows them down even more. They want to boost him up. Okay, put him on the totem pole. Clearing towards the back of the site. Glances over by the coffins as well. Look at the response, the reactive play. 2 players pushing down middle. They're going to have a fast flank at the back of Banana. And they've not pressed the go button yet. They've not run in towards the siphons. This could get quite chaotic very quickly. Finds one. GX with a backstab.
Salazar, though, gets one. That may be good enough for his teammates. And kraghen again. He may have been just panning those stats in the eco, but he's doing it against the full rifles. He's going to fall prey to juanflatroo, but he was already low. He's gifted himself across, so Queenix can try and clutch this one, who goes for the wide swing and will oblige. The A1S prevailing over the A4, and ECSTATIC off to a 4-1 lead on their T-half.
They're a good T-side team on Inferno. Close situation there, though. Looked like it was going to get really awkward. Heads up from Guild to take map control away. Hell, if you're pushing up, Banana will push out the extremities. Especially when GX is spraying his way through them. You thought maybe they were going to double up for 2. If he shuts down 2 of the players there, could have been really uncomfortable. Instead, ECSTATIC do get the round. And Guild, broken in terms of the money, back down to the 5-7s and Deagles.
rigoN wanted that peak, but the narrowest of angles will see Nodios get the upper hand. There's no evading that AK. Same could be said of Synopsy. Center at least gets to hold the phone for a second, and he's still on 39 HP. That's going to stop the push over on the B site for the time being, but it seems like ECSTATIC, they're not too interested in that. They still feel confident in their abilities to take this yet. So Salazar's going to go in for that peak on CT side, but Senna's already fell back into a more passive angle. Will get smoked off as a result.
He's testing the waters. He might just very well go through this as well. It is one of those plays. He's one of those players that always has confidence no matter what weapons in his hands. Meanwhile, the fight towards apartment, that falls in favor of ECSTATIC, but finally he's building up for this, getting closer and closer towards the lip of the smoke. They're walking in, firing off the warning shot. Salazar's going to look for the plant.
He may have missed his chance now. Especially once that bomb gets planted, I think his opportunity goes with it. He had to try and cultivate chaos through that smoke, I think, to deny the bomb plant and hope for the best. But it also shows what you're highlighting and the confidence in his own abilities. He doesn't need to go for gimmicky plays, is what Senna will be thinking. He's already got 2, but that's the issue. You're going to be pretty straightforward pickings on Nodios as you come through on the CT side. And when juanflatroo should be able to hold on to this Kevlar and the 5-7. It will mean a 5-1 lead, though, on the side of ECSTATIC. And we've discussed at length about how rough some of these CT sides have looked for Guild Eagles over the duration of the RMRs. And this is looking like more of the same. They're going to have a solid purchase into the next one. As juanflatroo finds himself a bit of prey, but they're going to just both tap out of there. He will be able to hold on to it going into the next round, but this is where we need to see a little bit of success on the side of the CTs. You can't rely on T-halves always digging you out of ditches, especially if you go so far behind, because ECSTATIC are playing at a level of CS right now of kraghen, who isn't slowing down. He's still getting frags, he's still pulling off entries, where things are getting a little bit out of control already, and we're so early on in this map.
Yeah, a little bit scary. Okay, Guild dropping the utility towards spawn side. So if you need to back off, there's a lot of HEs you can use to blow away the oncoming attack from the T side. Ooh, trapped in a cubby, but still shooting off heavy hitters. Holds back Patty. And they've got those nades, they can double up for them. Ooh, close on the smoke as well. rigoN goes in, and he's causing issues. Rambunctious plays from the man.
Much better as well for Guild Eagles, but I think Patty is going to be sat there face-palming because he had every chance to kill Sennery behind the sandbags, and that could have changed the entire dynamic of this round. They could have took early Banana top control and tried to exploit that into much more. Now Salazar and Queenix, with a minute on the clock, on a position where they're just hoping and praying that Guild Eagles get overzealous with these pushes. Now, these are the kind of rounds where surely you play more passive. You have not established your economy. You cannot afford to lose weapons.
It's crazy as well, where in these situations right now, with how confident rigoN can be sometimes, even with low HP, to go for the heads-up play to walk down mid, you're thinking if Salazar misses that shot, it gives them such a big opening. be down to just one player, but that's not the timeline we're living in. Talking of time though, only 33 seconds left on the clock. Oh, the missed shot opens himself up. Salazar will puncture. They look for the fight towards the bomb site, but juanflatroo up on top flattens both and guarantees the round for Guild.
Can't really fault GX for that miss. It was a kind of a bait and switch, well played by ECSTATIC if nothing else, but he has had a slow start to this one again. Ancient, a map where he delivers. Inferno so far, not so much. But as you say, juanflatroo with a double spray. This is the moment where you think, I mean, what we didn't see before, about 2 seconds prior, Patty was just rinsing bullets into sandbags and just couldn't seem to kill him. And that was a big difference maker early on in round 7. Still tons of cash for ECSTATIC. We'll see if Guild Eagles can get consistency, something that ECSTATIC were unable to do on their CT side of Ancient.
So much offensive utility thrown up and down Banana. For the brunt of the damage, well, that's going to the Danish side. Stripping HP off both kraghen and Patty, 2 big name players for this team.
They'll need a helping hand as well, as you highlighted, being tanked down so much. This is where you're looking at the Nodios, who, to be fair to him, we've seen land a lot of entry frags up on Banana when they played this against Apeks. Salazar gets the opener. That is going to draw away a second player from the A side in the form of juanflatroo. That leaves the A side that little bit more scary with no archers control whatsoever, and they've got a smoke down in mid, but that's going to clear momentarily, and rigoN and GX are playing together, additionally not in apps. So now they're worried about archers, they're worried about apps simultaneously. There's 30 seconds left, smoke down, and Synopsy thinking of going aggressive, finds the timing, but Patty punishes him.
That's massive. If he found those frags there, the echoes would have been felt throughout the round, but rigoN putting the foot down on the CT side, holds back the A play. They double up, group up, knowing there's a weakened B site ahead of them and they want to fight for control of it. Flatroo up on top this time. It's not the balcony. It's another high angle that he does damage from and buys enough time. Cuts his way through all of them and the round is gone with it.
Oh, I thought rigoN was going to have Nodios. Did he have a nade or a knife out? What even happened there? It doesn't really matter overall, those juanflatroo. He got the second kill while flashed through the actual box itself into the head. What a huge moment in this round, and potentially this best of 3 that is. The problem is, though, they lost 4 players. So again, they're in a similar situation where you've won a round on the CT side, you're feeling pretty good, but you're going to have a really rough bye. With lack of utility on juanflatroo, you've got no money left collectively across the entire team, and ECSTATIC will be able to sense that weakness.
Omnipresent, though, from juanflatroo. The rotations and those sprays. Meaty damage done with the M4. They scrap at Banana. And there's another opportunity for a double for Guild, unanswered by the T side. The nade goes high over the top, another trade is found. Patty only able to get 1 on the board. But it's basic maths, Vince. You look at it, ECSTATIC at this point, massively down, outnumbered 2-1. They've got a ton of time, but the bomb's back towards T-spawn. You're gonna have no idea where these setups could be for the Eagles right now.
Queenix making sound. juanflatroo would have heard that. Additionally, the pit player, as it was bullets fired across. I was talking more about the step, though. Now GX can hold position, hold angle, hold fire. Nails it. First shot in, shoulder peaks, knows that Nodios is also here and wants to go back in for seconds. And nails center mass, the follow-up shot. Something to highlight here, though, Jackie, is when we watched ECSTATIC yesterday play against Apeks, they got 8 rounds on their T half. And they were only able to get 5 on their CT side. And it was really, really scrappy. Every single one of those 5 rounds in the CT half was labored, it was earned through a lot of bloodshed. So once these roles are reversed, it feels like Guild Eagles will be into their most prominent, strong half. ECSTATIC will be potentially a little bit weakened. Do you feel like they have to post up a lot of rounds here on this T side?
Yeah, you're never really out of the woods on the T half. just got to keep forging your path forward. Trying to get as many rounds as physically possible. And it's such a different sort of flavor as well. Their T-side versus Apeks, it was constant banana control, always winning out fights towards the top. Here, it just feels so unfortunate. You're always in these spots where it feels like you're getting spammed through smokes, you're getting overpowered by the dynamic setups to the CT side, and the nades have been on point as well.
Yeah, making this really uncomfortable on the side of the T's, but the aggression from Seneri punished this time. The 1 AK in play for Patty has sung out. Spray is good for one, but Patty will return fire. Fast rotation from GX, but he's not going to be able to do much through that smoke, so he has to move into coffins. This is all about surviving and maybe taking one player alongside it. He misses his chance, but doesn't get fully punished. It's going to open up a little bit of space, though, for the T's now to try and work into. But those two CTs that he was waiting for from the spawn side have now joined the fight, where GX goes down. 1-for-1 trade. Two of the T's pretty low, especially Patty. But they have no HEs or incendiaries to find these positions. What they have managed to do, though, is isolate the two T's with a smoke.
Patty blocked off, playing off his teammates' information. The AK sprays onto rigoN, drops it down to just juanflatroo. He's been good for multi-frags, but can he pull off the retake off his own back? No. Patty peeks off the timing of his teammate, finds the shot into the back of the head, and they do get through that round. Barely, though. Skin of their teeth.
The thing is, though, barely or convincingly doesn't make much of a difference right now to excl, because they've broken the economy of the Guild Eagles. They're down to around $3,000. So they got the job done. That's all they care about at this stage. They can replenish with a post plant. And that man, Patty, having impact again. kraghen has been the leader of the pack in terms of these T-halves, but now we're starting to see more moving parts of excl. So I'm really curious to see what kind of a buy, if any, Guild Eagles go for here. Because there's 2 rounds left in the half. They're not going to have enough for an outright buy unless they dip down to almost no utility at all. So for my money, Inferno's probably one of the most important, if not the most important map to have utility on CT side. But this goes to show the Guild Eagles mentality. Like, we are better individually. We are going to take the fight to them, and we're just going to win through raw aim.
Yeah, they're not going to conform to the norms and think, okay, we need to go for those SMGs, have a little bit more to work with in terms of the HEs and the smokes. You're absolutely right. They'll focus on the weaponry, the firepower itself, a larger caliber to play with, diving over the top, but it's not even a raw frag. It causes enough issues that the teammate takes down Patty instead. Oh, this could be a big problem.
Especially considering they're stuck behind those smokes. There's no opportunity to go for any kind of avenging frag here. excl may have thought, like, Guild Eagles, they're on the ropes right now, boys. We're feeling pretty good about this one, but they've just found out again. The Guild Eagles managed to sneak a buy out of nothing. But Nodios, what an entry that is. rigoN is here, though. They have a player up on the porch. Spray is good from juanflatroo. The trade is on point as well. 3v2, and it could be another case of hitting the B side, but GX is here with the AWP.
GX. Can he stand and deliver again? Already scoped in. They jiggle to bait him out. The first warning shot fires off. Salazar takes some damage, but he's still alive. Smoke towards CT. Rotation for Guild coming in. The back of Banana will be their territory, but on the front of the site, it's still all about GX.
We've been here before, though, Jackie. They were not able to capitalize in a similar position last time. However, the last 2 CTs were coming through on the spawn side. This time it's Banana. They line up, and kraghen gonna go for the spray and connects. They know that GX was last spotted around the church. He pushes through the Molotov, connects the first shot, but still needs to deal with kraghen, who peeks up. Perfect timing, perfect aim, and excl 7-4.
Oh boy. These rounds at the B site, they're brawls, they're never clean. It's a Hell in a Cell sort of scenario. Everyone's just smashing each other over the back with chairs, Vince.
Gone through tables, top turnbuckle, elbow drop straight to the head from kraghen multiple times, up to 11 kills. And Guild Eagles, they got a scout. A real mixed match of weaponry, the aggression not paying off in that previous round, but GX will be disappointed, man, because he could have shut down one of those push players on Banana and did tag Salazar, but not finish him off. And that proved to be the difference maker in the end.
You got the two-man setup on B again. He's got a Mag 7. Oh, Synopsy. Wielding the shotgun. He could blow them away with one tap straight to the head. Shuts down the kraghen, harpoons him out of the round. Salazar replies on the AWP, but the MP9 is still here. A labored spray, resulting in only the one kill. Couldn't deny the push-up from the T side. Puts pressure on middle, and Queenix baited round the corner.
You just know Queenix is mega tilt. He's like, stop peeking me! Stop it! He did get one, though, beforehand, which has given his team the opportune moment now to strike in with Salazar and the 8-4 score. Comes straight through. You're still hearing the battle cries, the shouts. However, we were discussing this before, Jackie. They've got 8 rounds on the T side. Their CT side has struggled. Additionally, against Apeks, their pistol record was garbage.
Yeah.
They won 1 out of 6, I think, in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose this pistol, you better believe Guild Eagles are going to be coming at you thick and fast, and they're not going to relent.
No, they won't. And they're so damn good on these pistols as well. We've seen that consistently. They really do pack a punch. And that's a terrifying prospect, right? It doesn't get any easier. At least you've got a few rounds of buffer to work with. But like you say, if that pistol quickly gets away from you, everything you fought tooth and nail for, well, that can disappear in a matter of rounds. It's 4 that you've got. 4 rounds of advantage now going into your second half.
Play devil's advocate, though, you were against Apeks, and their pistol rounds are seriously strong. So we'll see if ECSTATIC can get across the finish line here. If they do, there's a fast track to a 3rd map. Pressure on. Palpable for both teams, and Guild Eagles actually slowing down the pace. Realizing that maybe their reputation precedes them in these kind of rounds. And try and feel out to see if ECSTATIC get aggressive. 3 players on B. The 2 on A, one of which is in Boiler. And Salazar, did he just catch a glimpse of the shadow? I think he did. I think he realizes the situation, but he's turned his back to Boiler, so perhaps not. Finds his man anyway, the timing on point.
Oh, mate. You can feel the tension in the air. He definitely saw the back of the foot there, though. Knowing they've bypassed him, knowing they've wrapped round through arch side, you call for the rotation. Nodios is already on the move. Salazar, he's still inside of the Boiler. Synopsy looking for the trade. The Glock firing off warning shots, and finally a connection to the head. Oh no, we're down to a 4v4 with site control falling in the hands of Guild Eagles. Queenix, he's been biding his time up inside the apartments, wanted to rain down hellfire with the dualies, but can't deliver.
They know where both of these CTs are as well, up on the short side. Flashbang up and over from Seneri. kraghen, though, can just turn his back, play the anti-flash position. Now runs in, runs and guns, but there's 3 players there, and they have just swept aside the CTs with ease in the end. When they got the first pick from Salazar, it looked like they were going to fall into place and get this pistol, but their pistol round woes continue, Jackie. That is a fantastic opportunity that just switches by.
It trades hands. And for Guild, you've got the advantage. You've got room to push the initiative now. MAC-10s on parade, 3 of the SMGs donned. An AK and Galil supporting it, and so much utility. The same cannot be said for ECSTATIC, of course, you're bone dry.
Have gone for one of those classic stacks. They love doing this in the CT side pistols. Makes a lot of sense. But rigoN with that MAC-10. You assume he's going to take point here ahead of the bomb carrier. Surely you don't send both in together at once. You don't allow that bomb to get spilled in a bottleneck position. rigoN's seen one. And where one sits, many will remain. They'll know this, especially if they've done their homework, so they can just draw that bomb back. Not needed as rigoN is spinning and pivoting and clapping heads along the way. An ace for him. It's against an eco, but it's the nature and how he's just spinning around and not missing a shot.
Oh, that's such a rigoN round, man. He's always good for these, isn't he? Goes in, brings out the club, smashes it over everyone's head, farming up the cash, and for style points, guaranteeing himself the fast flick to complete the ace.
That's definitely a feels good round if you are rigoN and Guild Eagles overall, but that was just the appetizer. Now they have to deal with the main dish. It's missing a couple of sides, you could say. The fact there's no warp. But there's FAMASs and there's plenty of grenades being exchanged between the two teams as well. Molotovs littering the top of Banana. No one present, but a deep smoke means that Guild Eagles had no sight as to whether CT's pushed down to get up close, and therefore they're turning their attention on the A side of the map.
They want to play fast into this one. They still got the SMGs from the previous round, so they look to play for the trades on brackets. Diving around the corner, it draws off the crosshair from the angle, and juanflatroo hits the quick trade. And this is already getting the backs up for excl. The Danes, now paranoid about a push towards the site, they call for a rotation, and Patty is now in position towards A, playing on Arch. Meanwhile, it's just kraghen at B, one of the only remaining smokes in play for the CT side in his hands.
Paddy may have just found the timing here, though, through on Speedway. But he decides against it. Now they're going to pick up the pace, and kraghen caught with a nade out. But Paddy's able to thread the smoke for one. He's thinned the herd a little bit. rigoN's going to be able to get that bomb plant unless Paddy can find it through the smoke. And nearly did. He actually tagged him, but not the outright frag. 3 on 3. Plant goes back in. This time behind Fountain gives them a little bit of a buffer, a barricade, a shield to plant off. Both teams are struggling, though, in terms of their HP. And both teams have a bit of utility to play off, but the double stack, the boost, is going to force away the CTs they've given this round up.
Can't run the risk of going for it. The equal footing retake, not going to favor them. Didn't like the setup either. rigoN with the confidence to go for the boost at the back, the new box. Looked to put pressure on with the AK, and that was more than enough to guarantee this one. They've got to exit together towards CT spawn at least. If you overextend, Patty's lurking inside the library, waiting to swing around the corner. Spill some of the sanguine on the floor. Not going to work out, though. He does just deviate back and at least holds on to what he had in his hands, the FAMAS, a free weapon save for the CT side.
Definitely more important for the CTs to hold on to those weapons, absolutely. It allows you to buy maybe a couple of pistols here. You can even potentially go in for a force, but I think when you've got a round advantage and you want Salazar on that AWP, probably best to err on the side of caution here on excl. But if you're Guild Eagles, man, you're loving the start of this round. Everyone, with the exception of juanflatroo, is tons of cash. They can hold on to this FAMAS. They can keep the Galils in play, treat this as a bonus, knowing that excl don't have a fully fledged buy of their own. And if you're successful here, you're tied up. Momentum's on your side. And you know that excl CT side is not looked like a well-oiled machine by any stretch of the imagination. So here we go again, seeing juanflatroo and Seneri both very high on KDA, opening frags, this time a little bit more even than the previous map, as you'd expect with a scoreline like this.
Into round 16 then. Guild having the edge once again in terms of the weaponry, but at least here there is that utility to work with for excl. Because of how the game's gone into the second half, they haven't really had the money to support it, so you can't fight for the angles you'd potentially want.
They actually did go for the full investment just in the last couple seconds of the buy here, Jackie. So it's putting their money into a bit of an odd position should they lose this round. There's a lot of chips being put on the table right now. It's not quite an all-in, but it feels like it's going to set the tees up so well if they can get more success here. But Nodios lines up 4 of them and just holds down left click, puts them into their grave, showing that this full-on investment may be worth it after all.
The quad side killer with 4. Playing inside the pit now as well, Synopsy down to 50 health. AK in his hands, walking out a balcony, bullet to the brain, full ace confirmed. Nodios going to be happy with that one. And like you say, that's massive, man. You invested so much into it, you needed it to pay off. The Lone Sharks would have been after you, but not now.
And it looks so good. Seneri got 2. And then they all just ran around lining up for one another, but Nodios laid down the hammer and the law. The gavel reached the table, and the sentence was execution, 9-7. But that was the bonus round, Jackie. As you mentioned before, now Guild Eagles come back in. They're like, okay, you won that round. We got an open play in 4 AKs. But GX is having another rough start, 4 and 10.
Hang on a minute, though. rigoN's position might be the difference. He's just got them pushing him one by one, barreling down towards the bottom of Banana, but being shot at like fish in a barrel. 3 versus 4. CTs already knocked onto the back foot. Guild Oh, they wanted to just keep pushing with this, but the bullet spam, lighting up his teammate there, dealing a bit of chip damage, friendly fire.
I'm not even sure what Synopsy was looking for there. Was he trying to trade up a weapon, perhaps, or find some nades? Like, bro, your teammate's spamming the smoke. Why are you running in front of the oncoming fire? I can't even blame Senary for that one, honestly.
They put the brakes on after the initial commotion. You throw the smoke towards Arch side as well. Keep them guessing, keep them trapped in position, or buy a bit more time for them to weave their way up towards top banana. You've still got utility. You can smoke off CT, flashes over the top. They'll line these up. There is at least a rotate. Salazar's coming back round towards CT side. Patty waits with the pin pulled on the flash.
Flash up and over, and Patty's going to get aggressive behind that. You know he wants to get in the face of the T's, but he's missed his chance, missed his opportunity perhaps. He stays in position though. They can hear the bomb being planted, can't deny it, doesn't want to overextend on this one, and finally gets his reward. It's a cost to his HP, he's going to have to funnel away on the 3-on-3. They're trying to get denied any opportunity for a save, but that actually may work against Guild Eagles because now the advantage falls upon the CTs. Not for much longer though, as GX with the AK is going to keep them at bay.
Drop in the style as well. A little victory celebration around that kept us guessing and really was quite back and forth like a metronome, consistently baiting them back in, thinking we've got a bit of a window here. We can find our way into this round. We don't have to save it, don't have to wait for the next. But GX doesn't need the AWP. Clean with the AK, the Kalashnikov sprays, and Guild, after finding that pickup, take the opportunity to use a timeout, get Devil Walk's input.
It's an interesting one because a couple of players were low, and I was thinking, right, the CTs are going to pull the plug, they're going to try and save. They get the kill on, I'm not sure if it was Synopsy or who it was that pushed through the smoke, and then it's like it baited them into going for the actual retake, and that ends up just completely backfiring in the end. You can understand it though, you're in a 2-on-3, you have to back yourselves, you have to believe. We were talking before about having confidence, not playing timid, not playing weak. But Guild Eagles still shut it down. And GX with a lot of impact in that round with the AK as opposed to the AWP. But an interesting twist of fate is because Synopsy got wrecked, they played Bogdan's Law, and that allowed GX to actually pop off with the AK. 2 MP9s and a Deagle, and a rapid round with flashes alongside it, but it's kraghen who wide swings on the MP9 and shuts down the first, a smoke planted into position. There will be a no avenging frag. That grenade nearly doing more damage than good on the side of the CTs. It back off the wall, and kraghen gets finished off by the nade.
Setting themselves up again. They go for the boost up with the scope. Rifles holding for any re-aggression from the CT side. Utility to work with still. 3 players firmly with their feet planted towards A. Patty would have heard the flames burning one of the players, but they're close underneath him. Drops off into second oranges. Peppers one player, but it's no kill. It's no delay. juanflatroo as well on the face towards CT. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Another round for Guild.
2 USPs remain. They're looking for exit frags. But these are the kind of moments, Jackie, where that extra experience is going to begin to prevail. Guild Eagles have been here so many times before. These RMRs, these close 2-2 matchups. They look down and out early doors in this RMR. But now they're picking up the pace. And when you consider as well, by the way, the Guild Eagles was 0-2.
Yeah.
They've won their last 2 best of 3s. Could be a 3rd in a row. They looked like they were done after the first day. They did have difficult opposition. They nearly beat MOUZ. Ended up throwing that game. I think themselves would be pretty honest about that one. They had an 11-8 lead at one stage. Then play ENCE. Fair enough, you've lost that game. But this is where experience will prevail. And the lack thereof that ECSTATIC do not possess, we've already seen how it's manifested in that first map. These are the moments where you need your big players to stand, to deliver, to show confidence, to take initiative in these rounds, and more importantly, lay down a beating when it comes to the frags. This is where you need a hero if you're ECSTATIC.
You've got to push past your limits, increase that power level even more. Salazar. has the AWP at least on that CT side, but will he be given an opportunity to puncture with the weapon? Back round towards Banana again. Nodios sets them up with a flash in to try and regain top Banana control if they want to fight for this. Nade over the top, right on top of Synopsy. Ripping, skin from bone. Only 6 HP remains. kraghen, if he peeks into this though, GX is still waiting for the face. Timing on it's going to be interesting as they begin to back off. Fade away smoke at the bottom as well. You guarantee yourself the Banana control.
But here's the thing, Jackie. They have expended all of the CT's utility. They used all of it so early into this round. There's still 50 seconds left. Once those smokes fade, there's going to be a good 40, 45 seconds. And the Guild Eagles are making moves up on Archers instead.
Flash over the top. Nodios playing on the off angle towards Mini Pit. Peeks in for one, good for a second as well. And buys time for the reload. Only 3 of the Eagles remaining alive. Friendly fire again, but it still results in a further frag as Patty puts bullet to brain. And rigoN is slain. GX looking for a pick back at Banana. With time ticking away, if he doesn't find anything, you've got to give up the round. And the 10th, well, that's one for the Danes.
That is one for Denmark in their second round on this CT side. There was a molly and smoke drop down on B as well from that rotative player. So they could use that in the dying embers. Not that I think it mattered at that point. I think the damage is already done in the 2v5 and with 20 seconds left. The Guild Eagles brought back to reality. I said they need a hero. They need someone to stand, deliver, play maybe above their normal level. And to be fair, Nodios has been that man in a lot of these rounds. That ace he picked up, he got a very important couple of kills in the previous one on Archers. Maybe he is the man they can lean behind. They can lean on and get inspired by. And that man you screen for a couple of moments, Salazar, he has his part to play as well.
There's something to be said, though, about the knock-on effect of these timeouts for Guild Eagles. Somehow, Devilwalk always just cracks through, finds the way to activate this very powerful team. 5 fraggers that, when put their heads together, can overcome any obstacles. And normally, it results in them getting quite aggressive. That's been one of the calls that they go for. They switch up the pace. They'll look to go for a raw site take, something that will catch you off guard. And in those small details, that's where Guild thrive.
There's been a couple of players that have dropped off here. kraghen, I'm not sure if he's had a single kill on this CT side. I think he ended the first half with 11 or 12, so he's been struggling. Patty's not quite had that same level of impact. Nodios has, and Salazar been slow up until this point, but it looks like he's going to go in for that peak on middle. He gets dinked through the wall and forced back.
Slows down the tempo from the AWPer for ECSTATIC. Softens him up as well. Response with a nade is on target. GX feels some damage, slowing down his play, but Bracket's control, well, that's actually passing hands already. Salazar is repositioned round towards Arch. He's scoped in and waiting for them to burst round the corner. If they can draw the crosshair out, overwhelm him, there could be room for a quick trade. Then you open up map control, but he's got some backup. Patty's coming in.
Had the right idea, just narrowly off on the timing. Throwed in a grenade. Bounced off the wall, did nothing. But he comes back in for more, but he's out in the open. And there's tons of Tech9s just eyeing him down, but Queenix is going to hold the line. In for more as well, as the rotation through Synopsy is good for the one. This Deagle's going to finish off with a couple, and rigoN, out of nowhere, pulls a double out of his pocket, and now has a chance at a clutch, and potentially the match-winning moment. He's seen kraghen. He has the AWP additionally, but kraghen just spams through the barrels. And you can see the anguish. You can hear the anguish in rigoN's perspective. He knows he was so close to greatness.
Oh man, rigoN. It feels like he was born with a golden deagle. This man is just absolutely incredible with a hand cannon. Always bringing his team back in around where it looks like they should be out of it. This follow-up shot. Slaying Patty, throwing him into a 1v1. Around the if you lose, man, ECSTATIC, they would have been up against the ropes.
Would have been multifaceted carnage, but it's going to be more of the same, manufactured by Patty's MP9, spinning bullets. And they can back away. They got the advantage. Oof, kraghen nearly finished off Patty there in the back. That would have been awkward. They got the hit and run. All those AKs in play here, Jackie, when you look across the board, there's the one smoke they have to play with. Molotov's been tossed in as well. There's not much here for Guild Eagles.
That's why you're seeing them so aggressive towards Banana. That's where you need to find entries. You go for a late play on the A side, up through quad, no flashbangs. Good luck forcing them off the angles. Yeah, you've got the smoke and the Molotov, but it's not going to bail you out anywhere near as much as that single flash would have. And Salazar, he's been hitting some moneymakers, waiting to clean up on this one. They're going to peek in together. The first frag connected, easy spray down by the rest as well. ECSTATIC withstanding the test at mid, and a 12th match point.
It's such a good read, man. I think this is where the Guild Eagles not really exploiting apps many times in this entire half is like working against them. A triple stack, you have one playing quad anti-flash, but also kind of the snake in the grass, one arch, and then the AWP of Salazar watching from the porch side. And Guild Eagles never really stood a chance, and that's where the lack of utility is really going to hurt you. Not the opportunity to pop flash in, you can't smoke or Molotov off both of the angles. Down, but never truly out are the Eagles, and they are going to decide, as per usual, to go out in their shield. They will live or die off this push, and they've already taken chunks of damage on Seneri and GX, but they're holding in position. They have no one watching in the extremities of the map, all 5 on Banana.
You take car control, you get top Banana, set yourself up with the site take, throw the nades over the top, and hope that you hit the mark with the weapons. Rotation called for. Salazar, he's making his move over. Another smoke comes in as well. Patty looks to play directly behind it, waiting with that MP9. kraghen supporting on the anti-flash angle up top as well. All the moving pieces looking good to deflect this oncoming attack, but juanflatroo spams his way in with one on the MAC-10, opens it up. kraghen smashing down the tentacles as this is cruel on defense. Oh, hang on a minute. It could still change hands. It's in the hands of GX now to change fate in a 1v2.
He's giving his position away, and he's going to get backstabbed by Queenix. We go the distance to overpass as ECSTATIC weather the early storm and bounce back with a vengeance.
A bumpy road, a series filled with twists and turns, but it will be decided on the 3rd and final map.
Off the back of 8 T rounds.